Now, if you're looking for the top gaming PC of March 2025 and you do not have budget constraints or stock constraints, this is what you're looking for. Now let's take a look at the components of this massive beast one by one. Now the first thing you'll probably notice on this build is this screen right here. This is the TRYX Panorama SE. Now it features a curved screen, it's 6.5 inches, and it's AMOLED, it's 60 Hz, it's 1440p, and it does look pretty spectacular. It has a 3D effects, and while it does look spectacular on video, I assure you it's even better live. One of the cool things of this AIO and the screen it features, and something that the O11 Vision Compact will be really good for, is the fact that you can actually rotate this screen. So we're using a top glass panel for our O11 Vision, and notice that we can simply rotate it, and there we go. So now I have full vision from the top as well as the side, and anytime you want, you can just rotate it back, and there we go. The case. The case is none other than the PCMR and Lian Li collaboration case. This is the Lian Li O11 Vision Compact. It's a special case because of, well, the freedom to build. You can actually do a top mesh right here and have something like top exhaust, bottom intake, back exhaust as well, and side intake. So that's plenty airflow for pretty much every situation. But in this case, and especially with this TRYX Panorama SE AIO, I'm going with the top glass to give me that extra vision, literally. So the base I will use is the AX870i AORUS master motherboard, a fine foundation for this build. It will be using the 9800X3D AMD Ryzen 7 CPU. So, I mean, this is the top gaming CPU right now, as I'm recording this in early March of 2025. Now for the GPU, I'm going with the RTX 5090, the Founders Edition. This is not easy to find, but it definitely is the best gaming GPU chip out there. For RAM, we're using Teamgroup XTREEM DDR5 ARGB 7200 at CL34. Let's see how it goes. Usually something like 6000 at CL30 is a good starting point, and then we can try and test and see how much we can squeeze out of this RAM and how it influences the performance of the build. Now for case fans, we're using all Lian Li's. We have bottom intake and back exhaust, and for that we're using the Unifan SL120 V2s. And right here on the side, connected to the radiator, we're using the SL wireless fans, and these are actually the reverse fans, the SL wireless reverse fans. Even though they are set as side intake, you'll still see the fan blades, which are usually much prettier than the other side of the fan, but in this case, you get best of both worlds. Now for the PSU, I'm going with the end all. This is the Corsair AX1600i, and it's way more than I need for this build, even though it has these specific components, which are some of the most power-hungry components out there. Even so, I wanted to be prepared for pretty much everything that I'll be doing in this build in the next couple of years, so I might have a lot of hardware going through this, a lot of testing, a lot of overclocking, maybe some benchmarking, so I definitely want to be both on the safe side and not have to worry too much about the PSU in the near future.
Now for storage, I'm going to use 3 of these babies, the Team Force Pro G70, 1 TB each, and this motherboard allows up to 4 M.2 drives, so 3 of which are 5.0, 1 is 4.0, so I'll still have 1 left to upgrade in the future if needed. Something I've been using in many of my AM5 builds is this Noctua STPG1. This is just a thermal paste card. You just install it over your socket and it stops the excess thermal paste from going into these grooves. It really makes your life simpler if you're doing a lot of builds. Now, there's a bunch of ways to install this AIO in the O11 Vision Compact, but I'm definitely going to be using the pass-through grommet, so it really allows for a much cleaner build and no dangling tubes unless you really want there to be. And here it is. This is a good example of something that someone who has, again, no constraints on budget and the luck to find a GPU in stock at MSRP, that's probably the hardest part. Could choose to build for a pure gaming rig. We're going to have new AMD CPUs this month. Something like a 9950 X3D is definitely the top CPU for someone who is doing more than just gaming. There's a lot of applications for the extra cores, but if you're just going for a pure gaming build, I would still say the 9800 X3D definitely makes sense in this build paired with a 5090. Also remember that just because new GPUs are out does not mean there aren't plenty of other GPUs that are super, super powerful and still so relevant in today's market, particularly with this stock situation. Just because of course, we want the high-end stuff, we want the most powerful, newer stuff, but sometimes it doesn't make sense. Sometimes it's not easy to find them, and there's plenty of alternatives that are either slightly older or more mid-range oriented that can still be a perfect GPU for a gaming build.